7.5 kilos. That's how much weight I lost in 30 days. Did I suffer? Absolutely. Was it worth it? I mean, you tell me. Here's a shot of me before and after the challenge. And stay till the end to see the results. But first, here's how it started. I wanted to get lean. Fast. So I sat down and tried to write out a normal diet plan. Balanced meals, calorie target, all that. But none of it felt right. I crumbled up the paper and threw it in the trash. That's when I knew. I was all in. For 30 days, I was going to eat only meat. No carbs, no plants, no cheat days. Just beef, eggs, butter, and cheese. No sauces, no seasoning. Just salt and pepper at best. The night before day 1, I was hyped. This challenge had been living in my head for months. And tomorrow, it was finally happening. I was gonna track every single calorie, every gram of protein and fat that entered my body. And not because I wanted balance or some perfect diet, but because I wanted to see how far I could push myself. The first few days were rough. Even though I was hitting my goal of 2,500 calories each day, with 3 solid meals and clean tracking, my body was confused. No carbs meant no quick fuel, and the switch to burning fat doesn't happen overnight. Energy dipped. I felt slow, foggy. It wasn't exciting, but it was working. Still, I could already tell what was coming. The taste fatigue was creeping in. Everything started to blend together. Different textures, but the same flavor. None. But then, around day 6 or 7, I had a breakthrough. Aged cheese. A hard, sharp block of flavor. It actually tasted like something. And for a few days, it was the highlight of every meal. And I thought, maybe I had found the answer. But eventually it all came crashing down. And even that just became another piece of the bland puzzle. It started with cutting down from 3 meals to 2. And 2,500 calories became 1,600. But it kept on sliding. Not because I wanted to eat less, but because I just couldn't bring myself to chew another bite of the same bland stuff. Every meal was a mental hurdle. I was still tracking everything, but the numbers were getting smaller. The middle of the challenge became survival mode. The cravings were weird, not just for sugar, but for flavor. I didn't necessarily miss snacks. What I missed was variety, texture, color. This is me many of the nights in the challenge. At 2 AM, standing in front of the sink with a glass of water in one hand and cold meat in the other, just forcing it down. And around this point, my appetite truly started to collapse. Some days, I barely hit 400 calories. That wasn't discipline, it was just pure defeat. But even then, my body was changing. And how was it socially? I mean, for me, eating with people was almost impossible. Everything revolved around food, and I had nothing to add. My body was burning through fat, day after day, and I was probably the leanest that I've ever been. But the hunger wasn't the issue, it was the food itself. I mean, I was still hungry, but the thought of eating the same thing over and over was unbearable. It was a strange mix. Physically, my body was adapting, burning fat for fuel. But mentally, I was done. I was eating purely out of necessity, not enjoyment. Food had suddenly become a chore. Each bite felt like a bigger struggle than the last one. I still trained throughout the whole challenge, and what changed wasn't the weight I could lift, but how long I could keep going. Fewer reps, slower sets, less drive. I mean, the energy just wasn't there, and I knew why. Simply because I wasn't eating enough, not by design, but because food had become a punishment. The last few days were a blur. Food didn't even seem worth it anymore, but I stuck it out. I had to see this through, because the mirror didn't lie. I looked differently. I felt differently. Mentally foggy? Yes, but physically dialed in. I was tired. I was hungry, but I was also proud. Not because it was healthy, but because I said I'd do it, and I did. No cheat days, no shortcut, just meat. It broke me a little, mentally and emotionally. But it changed me too, in ways no scale could ever measure. Because sometimes, transformation isn't about what you lost or gained. It's about what you learn to endure.